This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena I'm back with a Sultai control deck of my own evil design for best of one. Sultai and its ramp into Ugin-ness, it's come and gone in popularity. Early on when Ugin was introduced out of M21, this deck was very popular as you could ramp up to Casualties of War and then Ugin the Spirit Dragon, and it felt like you could just run over and smash everything your opponent did. But as the format went on, Team Erect played a bunch of counterspells, aggro decks got more aggro-y like mono green and things of that nature. Sultai failed to adapt, and it's mostly off the radar. It's pretty rare I see a Sultai control ramp deck anymore, but in best of one, I think I cracked the code on a pretty good list that has served me well. Let's pull up the MTGA stats. No, let's not do that. Let's do that at the end. Now you have a reason to watch the end. Cool Kids Club. We're going to get more members in the Cool Kids Club. Haha, that's called it. Tease. But the main thing that you want out of Sultai for best of one is you want removal, but you don't want to overdo it on removal. You need removal that hits the right things and solves the right problems, but it's also cheap. Like if you play a bunch of Casualties of War, you probably won't live long enough to cast them. You also need it to be instant speed at a certain point, because the opponent gets to do all kinds of stuff on their turn, like play Wilderness Reclamation, cast a giant explosion. If you're sitting there looking at a Casualties of War, you feel pretty stupid if they do all that in one turn. So a solution that I found for the deck that makes a big difference is Mythos of Nethroi. Mythos of Nethroi destroys a non-land permanent if green-white was spent to cast it. If you don't have the white mana, then it destroys target creature, which is fine. Sometimes you're ramping, you just need to play murder. But where's that white mana? CGB, you run white mana? This is not Abzan, this is not 4-color, this is Sultai. Yep, I just have 4 of these sweet little Indatha Triomes lurking in the deck for this moment to gang up with Mythos, and it actually comes up a lot more than I ever expected it to. Of course, later in the game you can cycle it. Of course, early in the game it's a tapped land. That is a green-black tapped land, which helps you cast your double black cards like Ritual of Soot, which we'll get to. Basically, I can cover Ritual of Soot quickly. Sweepers are needed in best of one because everyone's so aggressive, and I like Ritual of Soot better than Extinction Event. I've tried both. I like Soot better. Going into detail, you know the difference. Extinction Event can exile Annex. Ritual of Soot can clean a whole board. I've found more success with Ritual of Soot. I can't go through every scenario talking about why it's better than Extinction Event. It's not better than Extinction Event all the time, but it's worked better for me. But yeah, the Triome anyway gives you that white mana, and later in the game you can cycle it if you don't need it, and it's a forest. It's a plain swamp forest. I've got one of those in my backyard. It's epic. And the Nissa who shakes the world gets double mana out of the Triome, so that's pretty frickin' sweet. You know, we talked about the mana base. Let's do it. The Team Erect was so successful, we're running it back 30 land. Because this deck needs to ramp up to big Ugins and big Krasis. I absolutely love Hydroid Krasis in the deck. It's done so much more for me than when I had Shark Typhoon hiding in here, at least in best of one. And Epic Krasi is pretty much how you almost always put the game away. So hitting every land drop, running a million lands. I even run Temple of Deceit instead of Watery Grave because I have Growth Spiral and Uro cheating out land, and the Scry matters when you're going this deep on the lands. But we've also got 8 lands that cycle, so we don't always flood out, just sometimes. But usually we win those games because those are games where we cast an Ugin or a giant Krasis and the opponent never really recovers. 2 Tyrant Scorn, I wanted some early removal. I tried a version with 4 Fae of Wishes, but sometimes the Steamkin needs to die, not get chump blocked. So 2 Tyrant Scorns are pretty good because you can bounce your Krasis later and replay it. And it also bounces Fae of Wishes, which Fae of Wishes is just the best blue control card for best of one, in my opinion, because there's so many times, and you might see it today, you play the 1/4 body, and it's like, what do? It prevents damage. It's so much better than Arboreal Grazer, in my opinion, which had this spot for a little while and got swapped out completely, because Uro, Growth Spiral, they can handle the ramping. Nissa can handle the ramping, but Fae of Wishes keeps you alive and gives you versatility. It's not just a terrible draw when your opponent is playing a long game. And of course our sideboard, you've probably seen a sideboard almost card for card like this from my videos before, but I want a bunch of individual cards. I want a lot of them to be cheap, so Fae of Wishes isn't bad in the mid game when you have 6, 7, or 8 mana, and I want some of them to be very expensive and very powerful, and those are the ones you can't see because of my face here at the bottom. Mass Manipulation, Finale of Revelation, which, if you can just set up to cast Finale for 10 and you didn't end up exiling your whole graveyard to Uro throughout the game, that's usually how you win control battles. You reshuffle and you have like unlimited hand size to do whatever you want. 1 Casualties of War. This is still a fine card, but I don't need to be spamming it. I don't think that's very good in the meta right now because most decks are going wide. 1 Thought Distortion. Get them. Just get them. Freaking nice. And then the card right here that you can't see is Ashiok Dream Render, which I know is a big hit with some of you, and a weird alternate win con. This one's for the fans. I'm probably never going to fetch it, but you'll have to watch the video to find out if I do or not. The rest are just useful little cards that come up in various spots. Sorcerer's Spyglass can name Shark Typhoon. So that is something I learned in YouTube comments that might come up. And Elder Spell, just hit those Planeswalkers. The Noxious Grasp and negate Disdainful Stroke. Aether Gust is cheap interaction. Sometimes you just need to hit a Duress because you think they're about to play a Nissa. And Grafdigger's Cage, hose the Witch's Oven decks. So that's an introduction to my sideboard and my deck, and I think you're gonna like Sultai control, so let's dive in and let the nonsense begin. The booty of the Fae will carry. Let's go. Gigantha could be the Mardu Winota, which has been very popular. Could also be various other things. Let's hit the Growth Spiral. Rakdos and what's the other one? Jund. Those two come to mind as Gigantha decks. Our opponent with a Priest. Hey, we hit land. We have 30 lands in the deck. We really should, but I'm still not always. I'm sometimes still surprised. All right, let's do this. I think we go get the Grafdigger's Cage right away. Just shut this down. Now, what lands do we want? We want to be able to get back Uro. Opponent. We have another black in hand for the ritual set, so we want the right. I guess this is double blue, this is double green. Okay, we can grab the black and still get back Uro. Inking. Let's go ahead and play a Granted here. Next turn we can Soot and Cage if we want to. But the opponent can't do much as long as we sweep the board a lot. So there's a Cauldron Familiar. Play the Oven, go ahead. You want that sweet damage, don't you? Okay, double cats. Are you gonna Priest those for fun? Okay. What a magical master. Alright. Well, here's my cage. I'll pay 2. Here's the ritual. All your things are dead. So, what other tricks do you have? Nice. Alright, you've also got more Butchers. You've got the Oven. Probably have a Claim. So how do we deal with the Butcher? Probably just play a Fae. We could play 2 Faes. But I think that using the granted effect is a good idea, so... I should have grabbed another blue. I actually forgot this didn't produce blue. That's the problem with having this Triome in the deck. It does get me sometimes. Alright. We'll play a blocker and make their last card be Claim the Firstborn. If it's not, we're in a decent spot. If it is, we're going to have to solve the problem another way. 3 Dreadhorde Butchers drawn. What a baller. They throw one away. Yeah, they're just going for lethal here. We need to find Uro. Alright, another land off the top. Let's have a look at the top of our deck before we make more decisions. Yes, that is a card I want. And I think we do that instead of the Fae just because it gains life and gets us set up for the future. The opponent didn't claim the Fae last turn, so let's go. We hit another land. Ugin can solve our Butcher issue, although we're still going to take some damage. Our opponent relishing the spotlight over here. Let's just shut them up. That's enough from you. You have nothing to say. Rakdos is a good deck. I don't blame anybody for trying to rank up with it. It would probably be one of 2 or 3 decks I would play if I were just concerned with getting rank. But they're way too excited about being caged. Alright, they got the Devil. They're gonna like this Ugin because they tapped their oven, so now they're not even going to get results out of their Butcher. Hello.
Not a destination.
They can go face there, but they don't get the cat back. So they can throw away a food to deal 1 damage with the Devil, but that's all they get. Yeah, you get your Elk. You get your Giganta.
My flames burn beyond
What to get? Should we just exile their graveyard completely? So many good choices. So many good choices. Oh, I know you guys love it. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me what you want. I know you love it.
Dream your final terror.
It's not the right play. It's a play. And I do it for my people. Yeah, draw that card. It's only 5 life. A bargain. A bargain. Oh my gosh, I love it. Growth Spiral into Ritual of Soot. Our opponent, though, they got Karn and they got Sharks. They don't strike me as the aggro deck. So I don't know if this is good. We're going to keep it because it's good against most of the meta. But there are definitely decks that could wreck us. I'll keep you. Growth Spiral into Granted might be okay. What the heck is going on here? Temple of Plenty. Just gonna get this Growth Spiral cast. They might actually run crap like Mystical Dispute. It's possible. Uh-huh. Okay, looks like a Growth Spiral Mirror. Looks like a Bant Control. So what do we get against Bant? We get Thought Distortion, is that it? Think so. Elder Spell, that's another card you could get. If the opponent resolves a Nissa here, we don't have the white source, the white Triome yet. So what do we fetch? If they play a Teferi next turn, obviously it's really bad to play a card along the lines of, I was going to say like Aether Gust or Noxious Grasp. Maybe we just get Casualties. Yeah. Casualties is still alright against Bant. It can clean up Nissa and the land it animates. No Teferi. Love it. Let's have a look at the top card. Is it a land? Uro? I kind of need that, but then I can't cast Casualties. So we're just going to Krasis for it now. Baby Quasis. It's like a shark, but bigger. Alright, 30 lands, guys. Do we get the land off the top? It's been about an equal distribution so far. Epic gameplay. Alright, Uro it up. No shark from the opponent this turn. They're literally just passing and doing nothing. So what do we do? If we play this Fae, they might kill it. We should probably save it until we can get it back. Who's the beatdown? I'm at 22, they're at 18. I have Casualties in hand, they don't. Let's attack. That was not a very inspiring hand, or a very inspiring turn. I feel like the opponent's just buying time here. They're very worried about these Casualties. Would they counter a Nissa? Probably. But then their turnaround play isn't very good. Just trying to get them to flinch first. So if they can make another shark... Nah, they're not going to make another shark. That went way too quickly, right? Let's just fill our graveyard. Let's play the Fae, and we'll buy it back on their end step. Discarding these Rituals of Soot that aren't doing anything, filling the graveyard for Uro, giving us a chance to go fetch Negate, some other counterplay. Settle in. It's gonna be a chess match. And they already know about one big piece, Casualties of War. They're going to try to probably send out bait or play around it. Alright. Rose here. We might go fetch Ashiok if we draw a land. Cards in graveyard, 4. Cards on battlefield. Lands, 5 available. See if the opponent has a response to the activation. They do not. It is not a land off the top. How do we hit a land drop this turn? We do not. Let's use Granted. See if the opponent has a response. They do not. Why didn't I put a land in here? Let's grab Thought Distortion, right? Make the opponent play cards. The other option is to just go after the Uro. With like a Return to Nature, we could exile it, but Thought Distortion exiles full graveyard anyway. And we don't play this out, it could just get removed. We only want to play it when we want to discard something. This doesn't exile the Uro, but it exiles so much of their graveyard, it makes it hard for them to bring it back. So that's the idea. Alright, they did have another shark. That's why we didn't attack. Now they have a castle. They still need another card in their graveyard. And now they can either play into the Casualties or lose things to Thought Distortion. So I do think we'll see something this turn. Just Elspeth Conquers Death with nothing on the yard, except for the Uro. Whack. Shark attack, okay. I mean, they left me some pretty good targets, so... They're trying to protect some other stuff, but... Let's just get rid of these. Ooh, Veto Gamer. They got me. That was a very bad play on my part. I get so used to playing against my own lists because a lot of people play them in Best of 1 now. I don't think about like stuff like they should have a Dovin's Veto ready to go. But yeah, that was stupid of me. Yeah, they're safe to go for the Krasis because of the ECD tax. I can't Thought Distortion. If I just Thought Distortion last turn, I'd be so much better off. Also, if we draw on land, but I'm not allowed to complain about that. Alright, let's bring Uro back. We can Mythos the Krasis after the ECD tax wears off. And we bring Uro back first in case we don't have to pay for a land in a painful manner. And they target the Uro, kill off the Krasis. I guess the right time to play that was on the upkeep. If I had it to do it again, I would. Second veto. Alright. So they're all in on Dovin's veto. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them that they already spent 2. They might have 3 or 4, but we have Ugin about to come down. I have enough graveyard here to bring Uro back too. See if they do it before they get Thought Distortioned. Yeah, no blocks. Take 10. Don't want to give away that we're going to sweep the board. Hang on to this Krasis. ECD, the Uro, sure. And they still have 3 mana available, so if they run 3 Dovin's Veto, we're going to get wrecked here. Unless they tap out for some reason. They shock. Oh, I think they're bringing Uro back. I think they're playing around the Thought Distortion, not the Ugin. Which, this is the good effect of just going and fetching a Thought Distortion and saying, this is what I have. The opponent feels like they have to play all their things. And then they might walk into other plays. Yep. That's probably feels bad.
An opportunity to thrash is a chance to fail.
The big question now is, will they have another Hydroid Krasis?
Can be undone.
But if they do, I thought Distortion them, so yay. Uh-huh, more of this.
My research has concluded.
No graveyard, though, to speak of. Opponent has Ugin of their own. We're going to need to find that white source. We have not found that Triome yet. And we're down to 5. Not good. Not good at all. So what do we do? I can deal 6 to the Ugin, but I can't kill it. I can discard these 2 cards to the Fae. And go, let's see, that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to fetch something. Do I have 10 mana? I could get an Elder spell. I'm a mana short. We'll be on ECD tax next turn, but our opponent's down to 1 card. 1 card.
Witness the ties that bind us all. The land shall conquer you.
Your efforts will not succeed.
Could be dead to my opponent's Nissa. Three and then another 3. If I hold up a Mythos, that doesn't happen. Rough. It's rough. I feel like I tapped wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could have untapped a forest. Maybe I wouldn't have been in as bad a position. If they had another Nissa, they would have played it last turn. Or if they had a Nissa, they would have played it last turn.
Strive for balance in all things.
So if I target this here, it can't exile this Nissa. It's on the opponent here to find lethal. Maybe they can.
Do not ignore my draconic talents.
2-22. I think I've played this game so horribly, but it's not over yet. Gotta play on. Got to play on. Okay. Trace this up. It's a pretty good top deck. It's not a lethal top deck, though. Ritual of Soot. So we have to kill the Ugin, then we have to thought distort the opponent. We can exile the Krasis by minusing our Ugin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 potential total mana. 8 of it is committed here. We can use the Mythos and just reach out and smash this, which I think might be better because I really want this Ugin to ultimate. Okay, no veto. Veto would have been a headache there.
The land fights for us.
Alright, now we exile the Ugin.
I learned much today.
Two Uros to land.
This is my
The opponent's getting back a Hydroid Krasis, which isn't particularly exciting. It'll be a 1-1. We could play this.
ghost fire. My great
Opponent's going to draw a couple of cards, but I'm really worried about it dying somehow, although our opponent hasn't shown us Shatter the Sky at all. And they scoop it up? Whoa! Okay, maybe they feel like they made a bad mistake and were tilted. I'm going to take a quick moment to address some certain comments that happen every time there's a scoop out of nowhere in a game that was otherwise very good. There's always some people who feel like they have to express their very, very real, heartfelt opinion that they scooped because I'm playing slow. We're both playing slow decks. We're also both playing slow. Me talking about my thoughts during the rope usually makes it into the video. All the time they spend thinking about their plays while I'm being quiet usually makes it out of the video. We're both playing slow. We are both engaged in a mental battle. If you don't like it, I could say something that many other YouTubers say, and I wouldn't even be wrong for it. But here's your high road. 2x speed. It's not hard. Or skip ahead. Did you know if you're watching on an iPad and you like tap really quick, like on the left or right, it goes back or forward so many seconds? It's easier than leaving a nasty comment. So, there. Spiral the Dragon. Let's go. Hopefully this time we're up against aggro. Nope. Nope. Could be flyers. I've seen budget flyers fire up their game with a Tranquil Cove before. Burp. Alright. Alright, settle in. We've got to fight blue-white control again. I'm just going to play this to play around counter magic. Yep. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. We got to pay it off when we ramp. Probably just gonna spiral again. I don't know if I'm supposed to play the Fabled Passage then. It doesn't really matter, right? But this time with open mana, we wait. We wait. So, a Planeswalker perhaps? Or is this old school blue-white counter everything control? In which case, this is gonna be a heck of a weird game. Gust. It can go to the bottom, right? Yeah, we'll just decline. We've got a Gust gamer. How about Uro? Can I has Uro? I can has Uro. Okay. I don't know why I do the baby talk sometimes. I can't explain that one for you. I don't think there's a world where I Tyrant Scorn this turn, but our life total probably doesn't matter. Do I want to draw that Aether Gust? Sorta. But I do know I want to get Uro back, so filling the graveyard's fine. Plus this holds priority, makes the opponent think, what do they have? What are they doing? Like, what are these colors? Granted, oh boy. It's gonna be a granted war. If I'm the opponent here, what do I fetch? Negate? Disdainful Stroke? Straight to Ashiok. I guess I'm going to win this game. Calling it right now. Anybody who has their whole sideboard available and their choice is Ashiok, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to absolutely determinate you. Let's put out this Krasis because it makes their Ashiok turn awkward. Because we can just attack them down. Actually, oh yeah. So we Krasis because we want to play a tap land, like a Triome or a Temple. So we don't Krasis for 5, we Krasis for 4. It's still enough to pressure the Ashiok, if that's what they decide to play. And there's the Triome. Alright, tap land from the opponent. So their resources are limited. It takes all their blue mana to play this Ashiok. They're gonna do it. If they mill both of my Fae of Wishes, I'm going to protest and riot. They hit a Fae? No. Rewarded for bad gaming. Alright. Alright. Let's reach out and kill this thing. Now, does the opponent have Elspeth Conquers Death? That's an important question. It's possible what I should do instead is just Tyrant Scorn this and be ready to replay it. But we have 2 Ugins. 2 freaking Ugins. Let's go. Make them have it.
The axiomatic structure I will destroy if I must.
This just puts it on them to answer all of the threats. Elspeth Conquers Death is very expensive, even if they have it. Instead, they shatter the sky. Okay, drawing my 3rd ritual, so it's pretty awkward. Except for the fact that they actually played this Fae of Wishes. Get wrecked. Okay.
Do not ignore echoing talent.
Nice. Now we've got Tyrant Scorn for I don't know what. In this matchup, nothing, to be honest. But they've got to remove the Ugin. Ugin War! Ugin War. Ugin War. Look at that draw.
Consider this a warning.
Oh, we fight. Oh, we are fighting.
Rise, my elemental friend.
So I could play other Ugin here and just shoot their Ugin, and then my Ugin's on 9. I like this one threatening to ultimate, though. This is actually a pretty tough decision, and I'm going to let it go, but I'm not sure it's right. It's possible I'm supposed to play other Ugin and kill their Ugin. But this threatening to ultimate feels really good. And you see the opponent like, what do I do? I guess I have to shoot this Ugin. Yeah, your Ugin's about to die. Oh no, it's Teferi. Whatever will we do?
Right on schedule.
Teferi gets to bounce Island.
Don't worry, I got this.
Bonus card for opponent. And they're passing the turn. Look at that draw, baby. Right now we have the white mana so it can hit any target. And I think that's exactly what we want to do. And let's commit this. Our opponent, see if they have a counter. That way we can make decisions about what else to target, what else to do. Alright, Ugin says you go away as well.
You should have seen that coming.
Ghost
Ghost fire.
My greatest creation.
We could literally throw Rituals of Soot in the graveyard just to escape an Uro. I don't think that's great though. I'm just gonna fire up one of these islands, make the opponent deal with my board. All the bacon money can buy. I almost made a joke last turn about now we draw the Krasis. I mean, they're holding out for something.
Beyond perception.
Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Okay. I'm gonna try to leave a black available so that we can Tyrant Scorn back our own Krasis. And I think 10 is plenty. One of these sets can go to the graveyard, start fueling up Uro. Okay. I mean, we could also just let it go. Let it go, let it go. Nice. I suppose I should say it. Alright. They don't stick around to see double Planeswalker ultimates. This might be a terrible hand. It might be really terrible. You're waiting a long time for Ugin, and you're on the play, so it's hard to hit land drops. Our only early play is a Fae of Wishes. Our opponent's playing mono red. What the heck? I like Scrylands a lot, what can I say? Mythos. Sure, I'll take a removal spell. I think that's a good compliment to the Fae of Wishes. You not mono red. What are you? Alright, well, you played a 1/1 flyer. I'll play a 1/4 flyer. That is fine. Blue-white skies. Blue-white draw go skies. Yeah, let's have a Mythos ready. Opponent does nothing. Lofty Denial, perhaps? Okay, I like a good staring match. The longer this goes on, the better I feel. Now all we want to do is hit land for the foreseeable future. Has you a play? Nope. Shock for a Hushbringer. What does Hushbringer mess with? Uro. Oh, makes Uro pretty good. Alright, this is fine. This is fine. It doesn't stop Krasis, that's a cast trigger. So, let's go Spiral. Opponent's not going to Lofty Deny that. And Krasis is good against Lofty Denial because the cast trigger goes off anyway. And yeah. If I had hit an untapped land, I'd definitely Krasis here. Since I didn't, and since I still have Mythos, we'll just say go. Our opponent still hasn't pressured us. Fae of Wishes. Is this not the greatest? If you are not playing this in your blue best of one deck, you need a good reason. I wouldn't play it in Flyers, because it's not very well aggressively statted. But, I mean, anything resembling a control deck should be playing this card. So do we use a Mythos? I think we save it for an Eagle. The opponent still doesn't have good attacks, even though they have 3 creatures on board. I think this will get Lofty Denied. The opponent might then slam an Eagle and attack us. But we could and probably will have access to Ugin next turn. So we want them to tap out and go for something here. We want them to go like eagle, eagle, attack you, or eagle, rally of wings, attack you, you know, something glorious. And then we will destroy it. We will destroy it all. With Ugin, the spirit dragon, who is not ineffable. But I wouldn't F with that, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, Eagle makes these attacks better. Easy block. No rally. So the opponent might still be holding up a lofty denial here. We should see what they do. Like if we go for an Uro, which actually they can't counter it, they don't have enough mana. How about a Mythos? Can they counter that? They can. What would I rather have? I guess I really want the Mythos to hit the Eagle, so this is like bait. But if we're going to do the bait thing, we should wait until we have more. Let's go for the Uro. Excited to get to keep this. Yep. Alright. Mythos with 2 open mana plays around Quench. They're not going to run Quench too, are they? I don't think so. Let's see what they do. They might make a play. They do make a play. Alright, while you're tapped out, kill your Eagle. That was the only thing making your attacks decent. And now you have to worry about counter-racing a 6/6 that gains 3 life and draws a card whenever it turns sideways. It's a pretty rough spot. Easy block. Fate of Wishes. What a card. Uro, show him the meaning of pain. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. Around Quench. Negate, okay. I got another one. It's gonna be fine. Opponent draws another land, and now they play Safari. Oh. Oh, dude. Oh, you're not gonna like what happens to you. They're like, alright, now I have to go for it. And I don't blame them, I would too. Let's thin the deck. Reverse thinning. It means you always draw land, by the way. Just watch. You'll see. Alright, we can discard these 2 lands to get back our Fae. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. We can also attack with Uro. The opponent, if they block it, they gain 7 life. But I think that's worth it. They might also just block it with the indestructible Fairy Miscreant. Soot. I'm going to decline to put those land on the battlefield. Yep. Does not gain the life. Too afraid of, I don't know, Cry the Canarium, I guess? It's a legit concern, actually.
I come bearing the wisdom of the ancients.
Alright, so submit those. Ugin had to die for everyone. Because the Safari had to go. But I'll take a top deck war with a blue-white Flyers deck in this stage of the game.
Return to the essence of the multiverse.
And that's why. Why not? That's why we like top deck wars, everybody. We have cards like that in our deck. How you doing? Didn't even need the Fate of Wishes that turn, and that's game. Hello, jellyfish. Is this a keep? Heck yes, this is a keep. You don't play 30 land in your deck if you don't want a handful of land. This gets us up the ladder. We get a scry here so that we don't draw another. Okay, fine. Fine, deck. Fine. Will we draw 4 Uros? That's the new question that we must answer. Alright. Okay, opponent. Yes, they get it. Although, casting Phaon 2, probably not exactly where they wanted to be. This is going to be a battle, and I'm looking forward to this. We can actually Fey next turn and then try to get a Thought Distortion. Esper, sure.
Sorry, I'm late.
Teferi in the house. Maybe we just get casualties. If they don't have a counter, they're just wrecked, right? What do you guys think? We definitely fetch, but what do we fetch, right? We could just grab a Duress here. I think it's Thought Distortion. They can't counter that. Sometimes people just scoop when you go get a Thought Distortion. They do run black. They could have a Thought Erasure right here for the mind games. Pause. Now what do I do? The game was going so straightforward.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Alright. Attack. Distort you. What you got? Bolus. All we hit was Bolus. The opponent didn't play an untapped land. They could have used another Fey at instant speed.
Here goes nothing.
I mean, getting Bolus is no joke, but these Feys are going to be a problem. We both have them. It's going to be an interesting game. So they're going to grant it an instant speed. What are they going to get? You know, I can't really predict. Let's just keep building mana and graveyard. They're probably going to get something to hit the graveyard, actually. You know, when you think about it that way, we did draw all 4 Uros. I called it. I freaking called it, everybody. We drew all 4 Uros. This game is messed up. So I'm trying to think if I want to play this and get them exiled, because I think the opponent will go fetch like an Ashiok. The other option is I could cast this, get it back on their end step, and go get something else. I guess that's better. Oh, I don't have the blue mana anymore, though. I tapped wrong, if that was the plan. I didn't think it through. Alright, I guess I just have to keep doing this. But I think I blew it. I joked about 4 Uros. I kept a hand with 1 land. Oh, okay. They're going to get Thought Distortion. Well, I guess if you don't have any good ideas of your own, copy mine. I don't... It's just going to hit a Ritual of Soot. That's probably what they thought about mine. Alright. They could have done the Teferi trick, where you plus the Teferi and use it in my draw step. Let's see if that would have bit them or not. And the answer is no. Alright. Now what? It's definitely time to find a Hydroid Crisis. I guess we could cycle this land. Let's play the other Uro first, although exposing it to the graveyard hate is kind of meh. Epic. I don't really want to discard these cards, but I guess it's not the worst. Because getting something like a Casualties of War might be important. We're up to 9 mana. Glass Casket. Okay. What else you got? You gonna bounce that? No.
That's more like it.
Getting really close to just fetch Finale and use it. Nine? It seems so weird. I mean, stealing it's pretty fun. Stealing lots of things are pretty fun. It's a Planeswalker deck. You'll have to wait till next turn, but I think that's worth it. One Uro is all we get. That's pretty rough. Alright, another Fae. What do you get? I'm glad we did this because they could... Oh, they go get a veto. Okay, dude. They must have another solution for the Uro. Tyrant Scorn can remove a blocker, but I don't... Oh, it can get back my Fae. Okay, this is fine. Yep, this is fine. It's not a Krasis or anything, but it's pretty good. I love when people fetch veto like nobody knows how to play around counter magic. If they had a duress, it would have been a lot better. Okay. That's annoying. Very annoying.
Let's try this.
Bounce your own Fae, hold up the veto. Here's my Fae. I would like to return it to my hand. You gonna counter that? No? How about this? You gonna counter this? Okay, they're gonna veto that. I guess they're going to go fetch another veto. But right now they only have a Teferi. It's like I don't actually plan to steal just their Teferi.
Hero thing before.
Eventually we draw Krasis. I guess we have to beat their Narset though. Alright, what do you get? More veto? They definitely need to know that they can play this at instant speed. Somebody should tell them they need to read the Teferi. Okay, you fetch Sarkhan. We can definitely hang on to this. Ooh. Okay. Well, you're tapped out.
Peace is fragile and fleeting.
Get rid of your stuff.
Cherish
A matter of time.
will you find
Now what?
silence.
Elspeth Conquers Death, perhaps? You knew they had another beacon, or they wouldn't have fetched Sarkhan. Okay. You gonna bounce this, I guess?
Known for my excellent
Yep.
timing. I've got time.
Opponent likes their Fae of Wishes games, so do I, but we don't have nearly as many as they do. They're all in. Is going down to 1 dangerous for any reason? I'm trying to think of something that does 1 damage to a Planeswalker, and I don't see it.
Now what?
What's the opponent going to fetch? Elder Spell? Elder Spell, right?
Done.
So we shouldn't play this. Sure. Just because they can do that doesn't mean we should have played the Nissa. Because they could have just done the Elder Spell thing instead and still had Oath of Gaia. I mean, they're tutoring the crap out of their sideboard. It still doesn't mean they're going to beat us. They have to have good cards in their sideboard and know when to fetch them. And we've already been through their veto, their thought distortion. They fetched a Sarkin. Now they fetch the Elder Spell anyway. So I guess we make them cast that. Like whole.
Together we will prevail. Behold nature's true power.
Gotta start the pressure somewhere. Now they play Sarkin. And we'll steal all their Sarkin goodness.
No sword can pierce my scales. Come to me.
Make a dragon. Elder Spell my Nissa. No, they don't. So that's their backup here, right? They want me to mass manipulate this so then they can Elder Spell the 2 Planeswalkers and cast Bolus and win. That's the plan. We don't have to play into it though. What we can do to prevent that... Well, let's scry first. Pretty good. We can play into that next turn. We can also kill the Sarkin and steal these 2 creatures. And then they don't get to use a situation where they play Bolus and Elder Spell and win the game all in one turn. Because it's definitely a trap. Otherwise they wouldn't have played it this way. I also don't have to make another land if I think the opponent's going to Wrath, and I think they are. So I'm going to submit 0 on that, because I think that's more important, to make sure we have plenty of land. Yeah, here's Extinction Event. So we would have lost the land if we named it, or if we'd animated it. Triome, see, they're still holding the Elder Spell. They really want to play it in conjunction with the Bolus in their hand, and with a Mythos I don't have to worry as much.
Behold nature's true power.
Huh. Okay. Sure. There's the Bolus. I told you. I told you guys. You didn't believe me. If they minus to kill the Nissa, we can play another Nissa. Alright. So now the land can kill the Bolus. Alright, that's a good one. Because what we can do to protect our Fabled Passage land here, animate.
The land shall conquer you.
My schemes have been foiled.
If anything happens to this, we can sacrifice it. That's annoying. Let's see what we draw, though, before we play the Mythos. Well, if we draw a Krasis, we're going to want to put all of our mana into it anyway. If we draw an Ugin, though... Well, if we draw an Ugin, we might want to slow roll it anyway because of the Elder Spell. The opponent clearly isn't playing Hand Disruption. They're playing a lot of cheap removal. They're banking on Fae of Wishes. I don't think they have any main deck counter spells. Let's take our draw. Scorn. Alright. Mythos with that little white splash showing up. It's a top deck war. I've drawn plenty of land, but I have plenty of good cards I can still draw into. And the opponent surely is running a ton of land as well. That's a good card. That's a keep. But how we play it, we don't just want to slam it. We want very much to play it at a time when it can eliminate something of our opponents. Oh, what a trap. They want me to shuffle that Ugin away. I will not do it. That's good. That's good timing by the opponent, by the way. but we're just gonna hold this. Is there anything they could play that would just make me discard a card? I don't think so. There it is. 12 mana. We want to leave up a black and a blue. So a breeding pool and a triome, because we want to be able to bounce this back to our hand. Alright, basic land check. MTG Assistant. Link in the description supports the channel. Still have a swamp and a forest that we can search for. Okay. That does not hit the Hydroid Crisis. Just sits on the battlefield. Potentially taxes us and possibly makes it so our Ugin, if we want to get rid of this, also wipes out our Crisis. They. Hallelujah. How to devastate them now. Is this a finale? How much of our graveyard has been exiled? Pretty big chunk, but there's still a lot of good stuff here. So whether or not, like, getting finale is probably game over. Probably. Mana. We could also get the Ashiok, take out their graveyard, but they have the Elder Spell, remember? Getting a Disdainful Stroke seems pretty smooth. Getting Casualties, getting rid of their ECD is something. Return to Nature can just pick off this Elspeth Conqueror's Death if I'm afraid of it, but I'm not. I just have to make sure that they can't kill me with something ridiculous, right? Maybe I am supposed to Ashiok. I think most people would Ashiok. I think the right play is the finale. But we don't play it this turn. We go next, we attack. If I play the Ugin, do I have 2 mana left? I can bounce this back to my hand, play Ugin, and exile these. That's pretty good. Alright, return target creature to owner's hand. Oh wait, hold on. Ugin can just go lethal. Next turn. Through the tax. How many extinction events? 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have any more of those. Let's just play this out. Let's do this before the tax. And end the turn. I threaten to kill you. Who cares about the Elder Spell if they're dead? Our set. Gain 3 life. It's pretty good.
There are so many mysteries. Meditate and prepare.
Bolus located. They don't have enough to do the Elder Spell trick, though. Yeah, we're gonna Ugin this board. Bolus minus is on the Crisis. We don't have to get it back now. We have another one.
Defiance has consequence.
And last card is land. So, return target creature to owner's hand. That's you. Exile all your toys.
I will
I
return.
was not prepared for this.
Cast granted. Oh wait, ECD tax, never mind. Alright, we'll just pass it on over to you. You can Elder Spell this Ugin, but then we shuffle up. It's pretty good. I mean, as far as top decks go, they get to hang on to their Elder Spell potential instant win condition if they can get enough Planeswalkers on the field.
Planeswalker.
Why is Ugin still talking? I'm so confused. 18 cards left. Let's go finale. Get all that back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the forests. Play the swamp, tap that, and green, green, and green, and green. It's gonna leave 6 mana open. We can go up to 8 for the Ugin. That will get Elder Spelled. Let's see. We could also just do the Ashiok right here, right? Right. Let's just get that done.
I am your great, pure delecting.
Alright, they're down to 22 cards in the deck. They don't have a graveyard to work with anymore. If they play that Elder Spell, then they're definitely gonna die. And they scoop it up. That was a back and forth. I felt like they had a ton of tools early, and it feels like if they had the right sideboard targets, like they could have put me away, but instead the game drew out, and as it drew out, our deck got stronger and stronger, and their plays like Glass Casket and Extinction Event obviously got a lot weaker. If they had Narsets earlier, I think this game would have been a lot harder, because I'm assuming they run 4 Narsets and I only saw 1. So that was pretty weird. My early Thought Distortion only hitting Bolas was a bit of a tilt, but that early Bolas would have definitely impacted the game. And I bet they wish they had a lot more Dovin's Veto in the sideboard. It has Growth Spiral. We keep it. And we got a removal. We got a Fey to jump in the way of something. Pretty strong. If we don't draw land, the Growth Spiral might get ugly, but, you know, 27 more lands in the deck. You know we need blue here, so not going to be coy about it. This is mono red. We play mono red. Mono red. Tyrant Scorn's a good draw. Let's get the Fey on the board. Meet the 1/4. Come at me, bro. Come at me, you little champions. Think of how good their draw would have been. You. Alright, we can play this tapped, pass turn. I bet now the opponent does try to get something past me. Ooh. That's an obnoxious one. Let's destroy target creature, power 3 or less, right here, right there. Get that out of there before they would get a token for it. Then this goes down to 3, so they only get 1 token for this being destroyed. So we're going to Mythos that. We could be aggressive and try to Growth Spiral into that Mythos. Epic. Alright, they want to skip to combat. Go ahead. Trying to make me flinch, huh? All those little creatures. Where's Ritual of Set? We're gonna need it. We have double black. We have single green. Let's grab the other blue anyway, though. We're definitely going to want it for Uro in the future. Although, maybe Nissa demands we get another green. It's easier to find blue in this deck, isn't it? Actually, they're both about equal. This is it's a decision. And our whole hand is blue-green. I'll grab. We'll do this. There, fixed it. Let's fire one of these off now. See what we see. Another Mythos. I think that's a good reason to shock here, so we can kill a Torbrand. Or another Annex. Let's try the Growth Spiral. If we draw a land, though, we're really going to want to Krasis here. Giving them 2 tokens seems so bad, but I guess we have to do it. Like a Torbrand is going to be pretty devastating. Okay, we draw Krasis. I guess we play this 3/3. Draw a card, trying to hit land, actually whiffing. You. Yeah, now we're tapped low. Embercleave is fine. Torbrand's way scarier. So they want to kill... Let's see, I want to get their Scorched Spitter off the board. If they're going to play an Embercleave, I want them to equip it, actually. I want to get their Fervent Champion off the board. So we'll block like this. We don't want them getting free equips. We want them paying mana to equip. So that's why we block the Fervent Champion, where it will die for sure. I do think there's a Torbrand coming. Oh, they're down to 1. Maybe not. Nissa, let's go. Fix our mana issues, potentially. Big Krasis incoming. This is mono red. We play mono red. You gotta have the sad emo remix. What did they call that in the 90s, or the early 2000s? The Candlelight remix. Baby, you're all that I want. Cascada. When you're lying here in my arms. This is mono red. We play mono red. Mono red. Mono red. Attack face till they're dead. So, are we going to Ugin? We are going to Ugin. If we block like this, we still have Nissa. We play the Ugin, we keep our land. The Fae is going to die anyway.
Cease this aggression.
Fervent Champion. Castle Embereth. This is mono red, nothing but mono red, mono red.
Action is a journey.
Attacks face till you're dead. Do we exile our own Nissa to get rid of the Embercleave too? I think leaving them with nothing is the right play.
Harness the elements.
Goodbye, Nissa. Because if they do top deck Fervent Champion, that's the only way they get pressure back on us.
Reality is unwritten.
Bone Crush the Ugin, sure.
Then this is my fate.
That's a card. That is a card we can play, but we don't have the double blue, so Krasis might just be better here. Let's see if the opponent wants to block this swamp. They do? Okay, trading 1 for 1 with me, I like it. I lose a point from my Krasis, but I got an attack in, and I'm actually really happy to trade when most of my deck draws cards. Full price light the stage after playing a land. The tilt is real. They played mono red. They attacked face, but I wasn't dead. Plat, tier 2. And we are back for the post-games wrap, and oh, some of you keen-eyed viewers probably noticed this isn't the deck I played, and that's because I saw this deck on YouTube played by another YouTuber. So today's content creator shout out goes out to Motumbo, Motumbo on YouTube, who's been making regular videos for a while now, and definitely has a flair for what I would call the combination. I think I would define as evil jank if I had to if I had to describe it. And I think that one of the best examples is this deck he calls Stop Hitting Yourself, running Thief of Sanity, Gonti, Lord of Luxury, Hostage Taker, all kinds of ways to take your opponent's stuff and use it against them. So if that looks really fun to you, if you wanted way more Ashiok and mass manipulation in this video that I just made, check out Mutombo on YouTube. Link might be below in description if I do my job right, and might come up in a card that will appear during the end credits if my editor does their job right. So be sure to check that out. But if you wanted to hear more about the Sultai control deck, the main thing that I would say is I don't think you need to change a thing. So that those of you who stayed for that, that's what I got for you. I wouldn't change a darn thing about the deck. Look at this. In ranked, 18 wins and 5 losses. What a freaking beast. Ranks reset. This was from day 1 of the season, but goodness gracious, I freaking love it. Now in play mode, now this is another example. Like I think that this is a good peek behind the curtain for those of you who take my decks and go straight to play mode and then post that you went 0-5 and you're mad. Like 55% win rate in play mode. Control decks are designed to attack a certain meta, mine particularly. And when there's something on the line to fight for, like in ranked, then people play decks that they assume will be good, or that other people tell them that they are good, or that they lose to regularly. That's how you get groupthink. That's how you get a meta that is usually defined by one deck over and over and over. In play mode, they do still play some of those decks, but they also play a lot of other stuff and a lot of other things that aren't metagamed, right? So in play mode, I play against all kinds of nonsense that my Sultai deck isn't built to compete with. But if I did my job right, and I learned my lessons, and I tune my mana base, and I'm making sure I'm focusing on hitting land drops and things like that, then when you go to ranked, you might see a very different story. So I thought that was a good little monologue here for those of you who stayed till the end. Shout out to the Cool Kids Club, and yeah, rocking it. Anyway, do go check out Mutombo. This brew was pretty sweet. Video was pretty sweet. Tell him CGB says hi in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
you